Hey everybody, Frank Kern here, and welcome to today's training. The official name of today's training is how to build a huge brand and sell a lot of stuff at the same time. And I'm very, very excited to share this with you because I'm recording this for you on March the 6th of 2019. And for all of March so far, and I know we're a little early, so for the first 5 days of March, my business has done $37,000 per day in collected revenue. That's like actually getting the money. This is not internet math, where I'm counting payment plans or whatever. This is actually money deposited. So these are our average deposits for the daily deposits for the month of March, and I attribute all of this, everything that's happening, to the strategy that I'm going to share with you during today's training. So it's really, really cool. Now, with all of that said, the reason I'm giving you this number is just to explain my excitement. I'm not telling you this number to indicate that, hey, if you give me money, you're going to make $37,000 a day, or anything for that matter. I have no possible way of knowing that. Really, my outcome with today's training is to share with you what's working for me, and hopefully you'll test it for yourself and you'll see how it does for you. So by no means, when I share statistics with you today or share my sales figures with you today, am I implying or saying or any otherwise making any type of statement that I have any possible way of knowing how much money you're going to make. I don't, and nobody does except you. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but it is very important. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to share with you today is a strategy called intent-based branding. And every time I use the word branding, a little part of me kind of twinges because I've always thought of branding as being kind of a way that advertising agencies got people to spend a lot of money for really no actual tangible results. And in many ways, that is still what it means, but not for the sake of our conversation. So for our conversation today, I will define the word brand simply as the way people feel or think about you before they ever see your pitch. All right, so that's what brand means in the context of what we're doing today. So let me tell you how all this stuff got started. All right, so I've always sold a lot of stuff online. I've been doing this since October of 1999. I'm assuming we already know each other, so I'm going to, spare you the self-aggrandizing introductions and all of that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, I've always been a hardcore ad man, meaning that I've gotten most of my sales, most of my revenue is because I've spent a lot of money on advertising. And that's worked pretty well. And I've always had this belief up until recently, due to what I'm about to share with you, but I've always had this belief that, paid advertising, meaning, paid Facebook ads, paid Google ads, direct mail, all that stuff, that's the only thing that matters because it's the only thing you can control. So that's what I used to believe. Turns out I was wrong, all right? And I also, this is embarrassing, I also used to believe that social media is stupid unless you're using it to run paid ads on. There's actually footage of me somewhere in a seminar that I was teaching, like telling the audience, hey, put your phones down, don't spend a lot of time on social media. You're not Kardashians. The only thing that you should ever be using social media for is advertising. And now I'm eating crow on that one. So I no longer believe that. But that was kind of the way that I ran my business all the way up until December of 2018. That's the way I just thought of it, And so I was wrong about that. But I kind of need to tell you the story so you know how all of this stuff happened. So basically what I would do is I'd have a pretty good month or whatever, and we would spend a lot of money on ads, and those ads would yield us, let's say, like $250,000, right? So I'd run a lot of ads, and we'd bring in $250,000 in revenue, but it would cost me $200,000 to do that. So I'd write a $200,000 check, and then I would get 250 grand back, and then maybe some of those customers will go on to buy stuff later, but I don't know about you, but that's kind of stressful, I mean, I bet if I started today's training going, hey, who wants to write a $200,000 check for ads? Nobody would be watching right now. So that was cool and everything, and it allowed me to build a really big and successful business over the long haul of doing that. But man, it was really, really hardcore, and there was a day that kind of changed stuff for me, and here's what it was. So, the fact of the matter is, with Facebook advertising, any kind of advertising, it's always up and down, right? Like if you've run ads before, you know this. Like one day it works, one day it doesn't. You're always having to mess with it. Kind of a hassle, and it's a constant battle, and your money's on the line. right? So when you're running Facebook ads, this is stuff that the Facebook people will never tell you, when you're running Facebook ads, it's, one day's great, the next day's bad, and you kind of have to average it over time, when you're spending that kind of money. And the more money you spend, the bigger the risk is and the more intense it can become. And so one day, this is last summer, in 2018, one day I had to get some random blood work done at the doctor, like just general physical stuff. And the doctor is Dr. Mike Wu-Ming, who's also an internet marketing guy. He's also my physician in California. And I'm on the phone with him. I'm supposed to go in, and I'm like, "Hey, man, how was that blood work?" And he goes, "You need to come in." Right. And so it's never good when the doctor tells you have to come in to get the results. He won't give you the results over the phone. So I go to his office and I'm sitting down with Dr. Mike, and he's like, "Hey, look, man, here this elevated, I can't remember what the chemical is, but I had some sort of chemical in my blood that was extremely elevated." And he said, "Bottom line, you're at extremely high risk of having a heart attack or having a stroke because you're so stressed out." And I was like, damn it. I don't know about you, but that is literally the exact opposite of why I got into business. I don't think anybody goes into business going, "Hey, man, you know what I want to do? Like, come here, honey, I got an idea. I want to go into business, and what I'm hoping is going to happen is I can have so much stress that my doctor tells me I'm at risk of heart attack and stroke." So that was really, really a big wake-up call. And to add insult to injury, right after that, this happens. I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you go to Facebook now, if you go to anybody's Facebook business page, there's this little button on the left, and it says info and ads, and it'll allow you to click on that, and you can see any of the ads they're running, which is kind of cool if you're doing competitive intelligence or whatever. But if you're someone like me, who's a very public figure in the internet marketing world, you end up having everybody copy your stuff. All right, so what happened was right at that same time, all of our ads stopped working because every funnel hacker person in the world could see all of my ads, and they just started copying it. And, good for them. I hope it worked for them. But when you see 50 people running the exact same ad, the ad stops working. So that totally sucked. And as a result of that, I knew I had to do something different. I was like, okay, I'm super stressed out because I'm spending 200 grand a month or whatever in advertising, and my doctor just told me I'm going to have a freaking stroke. And on top of that, now nothing's working because everybody's copying my stuff. So I decided to start making video. I was like, they can copy my ads, but they can't copy me as a person. So right around July 1st, I actually have all the videos I made. I started making the point just to shoot random Facebook videos. And up until this period, this is embarrassing, I never really posted anything on social media except advertisements. So I never shared my life or anything. I figured who would care? So here it is, the very first one. This is me in the gym just talking about how you have to work hard. And you can see I'm doing all these videos and everything. And I did it pretty hardcore for 11 days. And as you can tell by looking at them, none of these are fancy videos, right? And the weirdest thing happened. During these videos, I'm talking about the fact that I have private clients, and I'm really what I'm trying to do is seed the marketplace and get people interested in a class that I was thinking about teaching that would teach people how to do the very type of work that I do for private clients, which is what I call Rainmaker Group. I wasn't trying to sell anything in these videos. I didn't mention a website to go become private clients or anything like that. But what happened was, here we go back here, what happened was during this time between July 1st and July 11th, so many people saw these videos where I just mentioned the fact that I had private clients that 3 people became private clients. And back then it was $38,000. Now it's $40,000. But whatever that is, $38,000 times 3, that happened during this 11-day period just from me posting these organic videos and giving good valuable content and everything. So I brought in whatever that is, what is it, 120 plus, dang it, I'm trying to do math on camera. So whatever, 38,000 times 3, a lot. I was excited. And of course, being a genius with a capital J, no less, what happened is I made a bunch of money, and then I immediately stopped doing that, and I went right back to buying more ads. And my logic was, well, hell, instead of making these videos that don't cost me anything, what I'll do instead is I'll stop doing that, and I'll make videos that cost me a lot, and I'll run them as ads. And that was my logic, which was kind of stupid, I admit. But I was so used to always paying for ads. I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd gotten lucky. I was like, okay, that was luck. I'm going to go back and I'm just going to make video ads all the time. And that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to make all these video ads. So I do that, all right? And from July 11th through mid-October, I spent about $500,000 running paid ads to show video content. That's a lot of money, And so I tested it, and I tested like what kind of videos work and all of that kind of stuff. And I ended up making money. We created an agency that runs Facebook campaigns for people, and that was successful, and it was really cool. But I made about as much profit as I made in early July when I was just using the free stuff. So, I spent $500,000. I probably ended up making around $600-something thousand from that. Then it's like, well, that's a huge risk, right? And it really wasn't that great of a return. Now, again, I got my brand built up, and so there's a lot of benefits from it. I'm glad I did it, but still, dude, I could have just kept doing the free stuff, So I'm starting to think I'm a slow learner. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit of a slow learner. All right. So finally, all that happens, and I have what I call the big revelation of the obvious, which is like, okay, if you see people doing something and it's working, right? So bear with me because I know this is probably obvious to you. It wasn't obvious to me. If you see people doing something and it's working for them, and then you try it yourself and it works for you, you should probably keep doing it, okay? And of course, I did the opposite of that. I got the idea to start posting organic stuff from watching Gary Vee and Grant Cardone. I did it from July 1st through July 11th. It worked extremely well, and then I stopped doing it. So that was where I messed up. I should have kept on doing it, right? So kind of start learning the lesson there. And here's what I learned, right? So I'm friends with Grant Cardone, and I started paying attention to him. I've always paid attention to him, but I started kind of analytically trying to see, okay, what is this guy doing? Because as far as I know, he makes more money than anybody in the marketing space, in the financial success space. I think he is the biggest earner out of every single person in that universe. I think. I don't know, but that's my guess. So I'm started kind of watching what he does. And then I'm starting to watch Gary Vee too. And I'm noticing that both of these guys, they post a lot on social media. And I think, this is what I've heard, I don't know Gary personally, but I think Gary's business does over $100 million a year. And that's no joke, right? So I'm like, wait a minute, these guys are making a lot of money, and they're making a ton of money, and they're posting a lot of stuff on social media. Same with Brendan, right? Who's a really good friend of mine. He actually officiated the wedding ceremony of my wife and I, and so he posts a lot on social media, and he makes more money, and he knows what to do with. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. These guys are posting a lot on social media. Maybe there's something to it. And really kind of the icing on the cake was just a little bullet point here. Dean Graciosi is a good friend of mine, and he always hated social media like I did. He's like, okay, everyone else is doing it. It must be working. I'm going to try it. And now his income has exploded as well from it. So finally, I'm like, all right, if I did it over that 11-day period and I made a bunch of money, and Dean's been doing it and he's making a lot of money, and Brendan does it and he makes a lot of money, and Gary does it and he makes a lot of money, and Grant does it and he makes so much money he's probably tired of money at this point, right? Then, maybe, let me think it over here, maybe I should start doing it too. So it only took me forever to realize this. I know. It's embarrassing, right? And I guess really part of the reason I'm sharing this story with you is because you might have something in your mind saying, well, it's too late for me because everybody's already doing it. Well, I'm in the most competitive space there is. And all of these guys have been doing it longer than me, and they've been doing it better than I have, and it's still working incredibly well. So I thought to myself, all right, maybe I should start doing stuff on social media. So on December 1st of 2018, I officially removed my head from my rectum, and I started using social media properly. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going for it. And man, I was embarrassed, because I'm 46. I'm like, no one wants to see me on video just talking about stuff, 46-year-old dude and all of this. But I was like, I'm just going to do it because it's working for them. I don't know about you. I've got this belief that if one can, so can many, so can I. Right? That's a very core belief that really drives my entire behavior. And in this case, it's not one can. It's like, well, Dean, it works for him. It works for Brendan. It works for Gary. It works for Grant. It probably works for a lot more people than that. Those are just the people off the top of my head. So I said, okay, I'm going to start doing it. Right? So I decided to do it a little bit differently. Because again, going back from the beginning of our conversation, I've always kind of hated social media. So I was like, I'm not just going to do it like everybody else. I want to do it differently. So rule number one was I decided I would make an offer in every single post. I'm going to share with you today how that works, by the way. It's not how you might think. It's not obnoxious. But in every post, I'm not just going to say, here's what I had for breakfast. Yay, look at me. I'm going to try to sell something in every single post. That was rule number one. Rule number two is I refuse to live on social media. I'm 46. I have 4 children. I have a business to run. I'm not going to just be taking selfies all day. I can't do it. I just cannot bring myself to do it. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do social media stuff 30 minutes a day. That's it. I'm not going to be one of these people that are constantly glued to their phone. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not for me, right? So that was rule number two. Like I just said, I was embarrassed to be 46 and taking selfies and filming myself. And I still kind of am sometimes, by the way. And so that was rule number two, right? So what I created was essentially the strategy now. That, like, what I'm telling you is really what gave birth to what I call intent-based branding, which is the stuff that's working so well for me. It's the stuff that's bringing in 37 grand a day so far on average, just for the month of March, and we're going pretty good. And it's been working pretty good all year. So that's the overall strategy. And here's how it works, right? So starting December 1st, like, this is the overall strategy I deployed. Part one of this, all right, part one of intent-based branding is every day. If you can, I try to do it every day. And I'm not perfect at this, by the way. I've missed days. Like, my family just moved across the country from California to Florida. I missed like 5 days. The world didn't end. Everything was cool. But I try to, as much as possible, make organic posts. And what that means is like regular social media posts that you don't pay for. Not ads, you're just posting stuff. Now, what you do in these posts is important. I'll tell you in a minute. But this is pillar number one of intent-based branding. It's got 3 pillars, right? So pillar number one, the foundation of it is organic posts. The second pillar is this understanding. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. This is a big one. I'll show you the numbers behind this shortly. The fact is that the stuff that you create today, like if you go out and you make a video and you put it on Facebook today, that video can continue to provide benefit for your business. It can continue to make sales for you if that's its purpose. It can continue to build your brand long after you've already made it. So I had this idea that, man, if I'm doing this every day or close to it, after a couple months, I'm going to have all of these assets that I can deploy in my business that are going to continuously bring in revenue. That's why we're having such a good month this month. It's because I put in the work starting in December, right? And then the third pillar, which is now optional, which is paid ads. And by the way, I've gone from spending 6 figures a month on ads to spending a couple $100 a day. And that's really, really big, right? And we're getting like a 10-to-1 return on our advertising investment. A lot of people never really get to the point where they feel like they need to do this, by the way. So the third pillar of paid ads is really pretty optional for you. But this is what makes up intent-based branding, all right? So I'm going to kind of go through all of these pillars with you, especially this first one and the second one for you today, all right? So let's get to work, okay? So rule number one with intent-based branding, I'm going to talk about Facebook a lot because that's kind of what everybody's used to, but I'm not just putting posts on Facebook, all right? So here's what I've been doing, and this is really what I started doing all the way back to December 1st, is I use Facebook, I put stuff on YouTube, I put stuff on LinkedIn, and I put stuff on a podcast, and every single one of these things, all right, by the way, it's always the same stuff. I'm not having to make new posts for each one. I'll show you how that works in a minute. Every single one of these things, they're always making an offer. All right. They're always driving people into a sales process. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. It's not how you might think. It's not hypey. It's not obnoxious. No one's going to get mad at you. It's very friendly, but this is the big difference. They're always making an offer. I don't know if you agree with this, but it's something that's really helped me, and that's this rule. I believe this to be like a law of the universe, and here it is. The amount of money that you make is directly proportional to the amount of offers that you put forth in the marketplace. So I try to do it all the time on every single one of these platforms, right? So it's not just Facebook, okay? So first month, this is the month of December. This is my ClickFunnels account. What I did was on December 1st, I went out, I bought the domain name frankkernbook.com, and I used just social media, organic free posts to promote that domain. So I knew everyone that came to frankkernbook.com, they didn't come from an ad because I didn't advertise it. So the only way you could hear about it was, me saying like, hey, frankkernbook.com, or telling you to click on it in one of my social media posts. So you can see here, the first month, we did $59,973.60 in sales. All of that just from using this intent-based branding strategy, which totally blew my mind because guess how much I spent? $0. So this was all profit before, average operating expenses and whatever, but there was no ad cost, right? So that totally blew my mind. I was like, this is unbelievable. So you might be thinking, okay, well, I get the idea, but what kind of posts are you talking about, right? And so that's a pretty fair question. It's not really what you might think. So the majority of them, they look like this. So what I'll do is I will go live on Facebook, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And this one was shot just from the little laptop camera. I'll go live on Facebook, and I'll give some good information, and then I'll tell people to go. As you can see, I have like the URL like there. I'm always telling people to go do something. In this case, it was register for a webinar or whatever at kerncall.com. So the majority of them are videos. And then some of them are regular types of posts. Now, here's where they're different, okay? And I know you can't read that. It's just got some copy on there. Right? And there's a picture showing some stats and everything. And so these are like your classic posts with a picture and some words and stuff. Now, the way these are different from the type of posts you're probably thinking about when people say social media posts is they have these three things. And this is critical, all right? This is a very big deal. Thing number one, every one of these, no matter what it is, whether it's a video or it's an image post where you got copy and stuff, every single one of them provides value to the marketplace. This is extremely important. All right. I'm not posting, hey, here's what I had for breakfast. I'm not posting political commentary because no one wants to hear that from me. Whether it's a video or an image post, I'm always trying to help the market by giving them something they can use. And that's thing number one. Okay. It's big difference number one. Big difference number two is they always deliberately foster a sense of goodwill between me and whoever's watching it. And what that means is I'm deliberately trying to engineer a response from whoever's watching that stuff to where they're watching it, they're saying, oh, I like this guy, he's pretty nice, all right? And so the reason I'm doing that, by the way, is because I believe that the more value that you put forth into your market, the more that market will pay you. Right? And that's just a belief of mine. I can't prove it, but it's been my experience. And again, I've been doing this since October of 1999. So it's kind of a long time doing it. That's one of the things I've learned over all these years. The other one is the amount of goodwill that you have with your marketplace is directly proportional to the amount of money that they will pay you. If they really like you, they're probably going to buy your stuff, right? So the value creates the goodwill. And the third thing that every one of these posts has, I've already said it, is it makes an offer. Right? And so if you think about this, you provide the value, which creates the goodwill, which causes people to be more receptive to the offer. So it's like psychologically, it's really simple now to understand. Plus, it's a really cool thing to do. You're helping people, It's pretty easy to make someone an offer after you've helped them. And the offers are typically like, hey, if you like this and you want some more help, go check this other thing out. So it's really a simple type of offer. But those are the types of posts, okay? So the best type of post, by the way, because you probably having that question too, is like, all right, well, I get it. What kind of post should I make? I know I should provide value. I know I should maintain goodwill. I know I should make an offer. What's the best kind of post? And by far, hands down, it's a Facebook Live. And here's why. All right. So when you go on Facebook Live, and this is even if you don't have a lot of followers, by the way, it doesn't matter. When you go on Facebook Live, their algorithm will show it to strangers, even if you don't have a lot of followers. That's thing number one. Thing number two is they will show more people a Facebook Live than anything else. So if you're on Facebook and you're doing something live, their algorithm, their machine, whatever you want to call it, it'll broadcast that to more people than if you just put up a post or if you just put up a video. That's thing number two. Reason number three is whenever you're going live on Facebook and if somebody watches it or comments on it or whatever, that's called engagement. Facebook Live gets more engagement than anything else. The engagement is way more important than the followers. The more engagement you have, the more people that Facebook will show your stuff to, even if they don't know you, all right? So that's why you want to do Facebook Live. The other reason you want to do it is because it's easy. You turn on the phone, press record, start talking. There's no preparation needed. You don't have to have a script. You just go. So that's the best way to do it. And by the way, to kind of put the final nail in the coffin of, all right, man, but what if I don't have a lot of followers? Because I understand a lot of people don't, and that's okay. Followers don't matter. This is huge, especially if you've ever been pitched, okay, I'm going to help you get followers. And people are trying to sell you that. Followers don't matter. The reason people used to want a lot of followers, besides it just looks cool, is that if you had a lot of followers, the logic was, okay, every time I make a post, people are going to see it, right? So if you have 1 million followers and you make a post, your hope would be that 1 million people will see that post. That's called organic reach. Guess what? Doesn't work anymore. Facebook changed their algorithm. So if you have 1 million followers and you make a post, not that many people are going to see it. So it is literally totally irrelevant how many followers you have. It absolutely means nothing. And I'll share with you kind of a little case study to this point. All right. Um, Remember when I was talking about engagement, and what that means is if like someone just watches a video or they click it or they comment on it or whatever, Facebook will start showing it to more people. So that's way more important than followers. Check out this case study. So my little wife, Natalia, who a lot of you guys probably know, she's the best ever. She never had like a lot of people interacting with her on Facebook because she was more Instagram. She just kind of ignored it. And she decided to start testing intent-based branding. This was in December. She is a very much like a professional person. You know, she's a model. She's been on 30-something magazine covers over the course of her career. She's one of those folks where the lighting absolutely has to be perfect. Everything's got to be scripted. It was always a pain for her to make videos. And finally, I was just like, hey, you know what? Just turn the camera on and start talking and see what happens. And she was like, okay, you know what? I will. Let's see if it works. So it drove her crazy not to have like perfect lighting and all of that stuff, but she did it. So check this out. In December, on December 21st, she started doing it. She started this test. She goes live on Facebook. She's in the back of our car here, and she just starts talking. And you can see not that many people saw it, right? So 283 people saw it. Now, remember, the magic word is engagement. And the more people that engage, Facebook will start showing your stuff to more people. It's like their machine does all the work, all right? So this is December 22nd. Check it out. She does it again, December 23rd, all right? It's 8:51 in the morning. She goes live, and again, she's not doing it perfect. She's just sitting in bed. She's like, to hell with it. I'm just going to do exactly what you say. I'm not going to be a perfectionist. I'm just going to start talking about whatever I feel like talking about. And look at this. On the day before, the 22nd, Facebook only showed it to 855 people. Some people watched it, noticed some people engaged. Facebook's algorithm was like, oh, cool. This account's getting some engagement. Let's show it to more people. They must be liking it. Now notice the next day, 1,083 people. It shows it to more people. It gets a couple more engagements. The views go up. It goes from 283 to 307. Now have a look. She does it again, December 26th. And here we go. There's more people. It shows it to more people, right? And look at the views. We're almost doubling in views, not quite. We started 283 views. Now we're up to 428, all right? That's on December 26th. And have a look at now the December 29th. She's in the back of the car again. And now look, she started at 855 people. This is how many people it's showing the thing to. Now it ends up here at 2,741. So what are we? We're almost like 3 times the amount right there. Yeah, we are 300% increase. And look at this, 1,100 people watched it. So what made it work? Well, first of all, she went live, and because that gets so much engagement, because Facebook shows it to more people that way, it started like causing that snowball effect to happen. And the second thing is the second magic word, which is consistency. She tried to do it every day. She didn't do it every single day, and you know, nobody's perfect, but she did it consistently. What did she do it like 4 times in 6 days or whatever? And because her account was consistently getting people watching and engaging, Facebook started showing it to more people, and she got more views, right? So that's how you do this stuff. And so the rule is, hey, when something works, keep going, right? So like, I'll take you back to December now. From December 1st through December 31st, whatever that stat was, we did, $50-something thousand in sales. It was awesome. I was like, hey man, let's do more, right? Here's the number. There we go. Okay. So yeah, $59,973.60. That was my December sales just from organic posts, mostly going live. And I'll show you what I did on YouTube and all that other stuff in a little bit, and just driving people to frankkernbook.com. All of that I would consider free money only because I didn't have to pay for ads. So of course, you could imagine how delighted I was, right? Good Lord, that's all profit. So I'm like freaking out, right? So in late December, I was like, well, maybe I can promote multiple things doing this. So I started using social media, this very method I'm going to share with you, and I'm kind of sharing with you now, but there's a little more to it. In late December, I decided to promote training on how to do all of this, like walking people through what I was doing. And here's how I did it, right? So here's what the posts look like, nothing different, right? You saw this one. It's just me saying, hey, go to kerncall.com. That was a webinar. I was doing them live. And I also was like, all right, so you can see here, I guess December 24th, I'm like promoting another live webinar to sell the class. Here's another one. This is like a more recent one from February. This is me in my bathrobe. Notice there's no perfectionism. By the way, this is another huge difference between the way I do it and the way you might think you have to, where you have to look perfect and you try to look cool. All of these were done off the cuff. Just like, hey, whenever you can, let's just go. Let's just help people. Let's give good value. So here's what the type of posts were. As you can see, there were nothing special, right? But check this out. In the month of January, all right, now this is interesting. In the month of January, now let me take you back here for a minute, okay? Oops, hang on, let me take you back. There we go. So in December, did 59 grand from the book funnel. In late December, I stopped promoting my book. I started promoting something else, right? Which is my branding class. So no more promotion of the book in late December. Started promoting something different, right? So here's the post from it. This is one of a gazillion posts from it. Now check it out. In the month of January, even though I wasn't actively promoting my book funnel, it still did $28,525 in sales, mostly from older posts. Remember, I told you there are 3 pillars of intent-based branding. Number 1, you try to put out a lot of really helpful content that makes an offer. Number 2, the content that you made can continue to help you if you do it right. That's what happened here. That's when I really had that big revelation. I was like, oh my God, I'm not promoting the book, but it's still getting revenue. Holy crap. And it's getting revenue from these older posts. Now, between February 1st and right now, actually, I haven't actually checked the stats, so this number is going to be even bigger. Between February 1st, the branding class had done $329,010 in sales, all from social media posts. No ads, by the way. All of this from organic, free social media posts, all right? And by then, I'd started to notice something. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Number 1, as you could imagine, I'm totally freaking out at this point, right? Because my God, I mean, that's a lot of money. I don't care who you are. I mean, this is a lot of money, especially when I'm not spending the money on ads, right? But by then I noticed something, right? And here it is, all right? So this was the big thing that, oh my God, the stuff that you make today can live on forever. All right, and that was a huge one. So when I talk about this, a lot of people think, oh, okay, I get it. I just have to be on Facebook all the time. And the answer is no, you don't. You try to make a good post every day, and then that stuff adds up, and you reuse it over time. And that's what I mean by assets, right? So it's been really, really, really successful. And so what I mean, when I use that word assets, I'm just meaning older posts that can bring in business, right? So in the month of January, like I said, BookFunnel did $28,525.40. from those older posts, right? The posts that I had done in December. So a month ago, I'm not even making them anymore, and it's still bringing in sales, and that's wonderful, right? And so then I was like, okay, wait a minute. What if we take these awful-looking Facebook Live videos? I mean, you saw screenshots of the videos, so they're not pretty, right? And I'm like, what if we deliberately create a system to repost those too, and push those as well? In addition to going live all the time, I'll still do that. But then I'll take these older Facebook Live posts and I'll just reuse them and repost them. So we did. And I was wondering if they would bring in sales too. And so I started editing my ugly Facebook Lives, and then I just made ugly edited versions of them. So here's one. This is a Facebook Live that I did. And I edited it by putting this headline on there. I did this myself, by the way, and that's why it looks so low tech. And here's another one. I had someone make this one fancy. Incidentally, the ugly ones are beating the fancy ones, So all this is a Facebook Live that someone put that little graphic on. So I'm reusing that, right? And here's another one. So you can tell it's not that cool looking stuff you're used to seeing, where it's all cut and everything's Hollywood looking. I'm just putting a headline on them and cutting out some of the dumb stuff that I say in Facebook Lives, right? So I started doing that. And then lo and behold, in the first 3 weeks of February, I tracked them. Actually, you can see I'm using special tracking links, by the way. Look. See right here? That's a special tracking link. So I know exactly what posts are bringing in revenue. So $47,856 in sales in the first 3 weeks of February from those older posts. That's just from those older posts. So now I'm totally losing it, right? I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. I cannot believe that it's taken me all this time to start doing this. Oh my gosh. And what's really cool is that's just the post from Facebook. Right? Now, remember earlier, I was like, hey, I'm not just doing this on Facebook, right? I'm using YouTube, I'm using Instagram, you got the podcast and all that stuff. That's just from Facebook alone, okay? So have a look at this. Most of my traffic, now you would think, right, and I know this means nothing to you right now, so I'll explain it in a minute. You would think that most of the traffic is people will see a post and they'll click the link in the post, right? That's what I thought too, but it's not. The majority of our traffic is type in, See where it says, this is for my Google Analytics, by the way. I know I'm getting a little techie. This is the least techie thing we'll talk about, I promise. But I'm monitoring where all my traffic comes from. This, where it says no source, no medium, this means someone literally just went to google.com and typed in like learn with Kern or kernclass.com or any of my domains that I mention in my Facebook content. So that number that I just gave you, that 40-something thousand dollars, that's not even including this. That's just including this, like where I'm directly tracking it from Facebook clicks. Like there's even more revenue coming in where they're literally just remembering the domain because they see all that content and they type it in, which totally blew my mind, by the way. All right, so this is what's coming from Facebook, and you can tell like this is less than this. So more people are just remembering the freaking website and going there. I have no idea why, but I've been testing this now since December, and it's every single day. As more people remember the website and type it than they do that actually click the link, which is crazy. And I'll take that. I don't mind, right? So this is 2301 in total. This is 3,000, just people, remembering the website and going there. So that's awesome. So I started wondering, okay, this is working. Why is it working? All right. What's the psychology behind it? How come this is so effective? And here's why. All right. So as you probably know, this is the age-old formula for selling stuff on the internet. The old adage goes like this. It says, all right, you want to sell a bunch of stuff on the internet, here's all you got to do. You build a list, and then you sell them stuff, right? And so that's like kind of the age-old formula, which is clearly oversimplified, but that's kind of the age-old formula, right? You build a list, and you sell them stuff. Now, there's a middle step here. That's really where the money is. And the middle step is you create a relationship with them. So the real formula should be you build a list, you create a relationship with that list, and then you sell them stuff. This is where the real money is, in creating the relationship. All right. The reason intent-based branding works so well is because the relationship is created immediately. There's no barrier between your prospect and the relationship. They don't have to give you their email address or whatever to get a relationship with you. They're seeing all this content. They're getting all of this goodwill that relationship is accelerated. It happens way, way faster than it used to. And the money, I can promise you this, you probably already know this, but if you don't, like if you take anything away from today's training, take this away. The money is in the relationship you have with your audience. And an audience isn't just an email list. An audience is people who watch your stuff, whether they listen to a podcast, watch your videos on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. That's an audience. The money's in the relationship with that audience, period. The bigger that relationship is, the more money you're going to make. Now, here's how the old way worked mechanically, right? And you've seen this a million times, right? So here it is. You got yourself some traffic. That could be from a Facebook ad or an affiliate email or whatever, right? You get traffic. They go to a website, and the old way, they'd have to give you their email address, which nobody wants to do. That's why, opt-in rates are usually, 20% or whatever. So, you send 100 people to a web page. Maybe 20 of them give you their email address, and then you send them a bunch of emails, and the emails link to a video. Some people click the video, most don't, but that video builds a relationship, and then you finally make an offer to them, and then maybe they buy some stuff, right? Well, that's basically, by the way, email marketing. This is essentially an email marketing methodology. So all the stuff we've been doing for all these years, it's basically email marketing, right? You build a list, you email them a lot of stuff, you sell them some stuff through the email. So here's the test results when I did a head-to-head death match between intent-based branding and email marketing. Because I'm like weird about this stuff. It's my job to teach marketing and to monitor everything and test everything because I share it with my clients and my students. So I was like, okay, let's compare dollars to dollars, apples to apples, email versus intent-based branding, email versus social media. Have a look at this. This will blow your mind, all right? So what I'm sharing with you right now are screenshots from all of my emails in the month of December. All right. So, and we see these little totals here. These are like just the totals of the clicks on every little screenshot here. All right. So these are all the emails I sent out in the month of December. Okay. So it's a lot of emails going out in the month of December. Here's the total clicks from all the emails on each of these little screenshots, add it all up. Let's see on the next slide. Yeah, here it is. All right. So I sent 32 emails in December to my list. So my list size is just under 80,000 people, and you would think it would be a huge list, right? Because I've been doing this since '99. Fact of the matter is you have to delete people on your list if they don't open or click on your emails. Otherwise, no one's going to, the email gods, for so to speak, if they see a lot of people not opening and clicking your emails, they won't deliver your emails anymore. So you constantly have to prune that list. So, this is the pruned version of my list. These are who's left. These are the best ones, just under 80,000 people. I sent them 32 emails in the month of December. That's about 2.5 emails total sent. That's a lot of email, right? I mean, good Lord, that got me 13,886 clicks total. So I sent 32 emails, about 2.5 million emails, 13,886 clicks total for the month, all right? And I'm pretty good at email, by the way. I write pretty good email copy, if I do say so myself, all right? That's an average, by the way, of 433 clicks per email, all right? That's not looking too good, okay? But here's really what's not looking too good. This, right here, this first slide, this is sales to my book funnel from email, all right? So that's what that email produced, $19,939.20. I'll take it, but see this one? This screenshot, same date range, by the way, different funnel. See how this says convert book order? This is everything from email. See, this one says convert book org. It actually says organic, but ClickFunnels just doesn't show the whole thing. This is from social media. I'm tracking two different tracking sources, or traffic sources rather. Social media brought in $59,973.60. I mean, look at that. The difference is ridiculous, right? What is it, $40,000 more than email did? Email's not the answer anymore. Social media is the answer anymore, and I'm very embarrassed to just now be telling you this, but, here's the math, right? So here's the numbers behind it from my own personal testing, okay? So here's the big deal. There's a huge takeaway. Audiences are the new email list. I'm not telling you, email lists are dead. I'm not saying, hey, forget about trying to get email. I'm telling you that it still works okay. It's not the main pillar of your business anymore. The main pillar of your business is an audience, and that's the new email list, right? So the question becomes, well, it kind of makes sense because you just showed me that email didn't really do that great, and that social media clearly did really, really well. What do you mean by audience, all right? Basically, an audience means people who engage with your stuff. Right? So if they watch a video on social media, they're in your audience now. And what's really cool is Facebook and YouTube, they put them in an audience automatically for you. And they'll start showing those very same people more of your content more often automatically. So you don't have to do anything, which is awesome. And if you want to advertise to those very people, you can do that too. But that's what an audience means. People who engage with your stuff, people who follow you on Instagram, people who watch your stuff on Facebook, like it, comment on it, share it, people who watch your stuff on YouTube, people who download a podcast. That's all audiences, all right? Way more important than email now. Way more important. I mean, you just saw the math behind it. You just saw the money behind it, all right? So the word engage, okay, so let me just be really clear. If an audience means people who engage with your stuff, let's be really clear about what the word engage means, okay? So when I say engage, all it means is they watch a video, or they click a link on a post, or they like it, or they comment on it, or they share it, and they could do that on any of those social media networks, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. If they do any of these things, they have engaged, and now they're in your audience, and that happens automatically. You don't do anything. It just happens, all right? And so we're in this golden age right now of marketing where a lot of stuff is working in our favor. So that's what engagement means, all right? So here's the magic equation. The more engagement, the better the relationship. The better the relationship, the bigger the brand. The bigger the brand, the more money you get, right? So that's really what the name of the game is now. Let's give them a lot of content that they engage with, and all you got to do is give them helpful content. That builds the relationship. The strength of the relationship builds the brand. The brand equals the money. There. Okay, that's the thing. All right, so here are the new mechanics. I showed you the old way, right? Send traffic to an opt-in page, email them 5 billion times, hope they buy something. I just showed you the math behind it. Here's the new mechanics, all right? This is the new way of selling things on the internet. So, number one, you put out content. Every piece of content makes an offer. Very, very important, right? So if you've been following me, you've seen me, you probably got here because you saw some content that was like, hey, I have a webinar, you should go check it out. That's all we're doing in the offer, nothing pushy, but we do that a lot. All right, so that's thing number one. Step two is if somebody engages with that, meaning if they watch it, if they click it, if they share it, if they comment on it, whatever, now they're in your audience and social media shows them more of your stuff auto-freaking-matically, right? So if you follow me on social media and you notice that I'm all over your social media, it's because you've engaged with my stuff and the social media networks are like, oh, they must like this guy's stuff. We're going to show them more of this guy's stuff because they engage with it. They must like it, right? So that's how that happens. All of this is automatic. You do nothing, right? The algorithms do all of this stuff, which is unbelievable. So Someone sees your content, you're making an offer in the content, maybe they take you up on the offer. Who knows, right? If they watch it, engage with it, or whatever, now they're going to start seeing more of your stuff all the time. And now they're going to see more offers from you all the time. And what's the rule? More offers equals more sales, typically, right? So that's the new mechanics. It's way simpler now. They don't have to opt in. You don't have to drive them to the website necessarily. I mean, clearly you sell them something on your website, but it's not as hard as it used to be, which is great. And now optionally, this is optional, you can also retarget these people who engage with more ads and more content and more offers, right? So that's the new mechanics. It really is like this simple, which is fantastic, all right? And that's why I think that right now we're living in a time of the greatest opportunity ever. I mean, think about this. Like, we can just make a video on social media and it can be seen by thousands of people and it costs $0. Well, it's like TV. I mean, I don't know about you. I think of the cell phone as the new TV, right? People watch videos on Facebook. What's the difference between that and television? I think there's a stat that's showing something like more people are watching video content on social media than they are on television now. Well, hey, your post, rather, that helps them and makes an offer, that's just like a commercial, but a really good one that actually helps people. So that's why I think we live in the greatest opportunity ever. I think like right now, we can just get in front of everybody for next to nothing, and doing so, if you structure your content right, like I'd love to show you how to do, we can build an unbelievable relationship with them and we can sell them stuff. And we can do it with way less complexity than ever before. We don't need a lot of like hardcore tools. You don't need a lot of hardcore programming anymore. You don't have to be like high pressure anymore or anything like that. In fact, here are the tools you need, right? Most of my content, overwhelming the majority of the stuff that I've put out on social media, I do it with my phone, right? It deliberately isn't fancy looking. I want people to relate to me. It's like, okay, I'm going to make some stuff. I'm just going to get the phone, press record, start talking. So thing number one, you need a phone that is connected to the internet and to social media. That's the tool number one. This little thing, your brain here, this means you need like something to say, right? You need your content. All right. So you need to have something to say that is deliberately designed to be of benefit to the people who are watching it. All right. So you need to like actually say stuff. And this little gear here means a sales process. You need something to sell. Right? You need a website that actually sells something, whether it's a sales letter or a webinar or a VSL or whatever. And that's it. Those are your tools. Gone are the days when we have to have 9 billion tools and everything is extremely difficult, which is awesome, right? So if you want me to show you how to do this stuff and really give you step-by-step help on building your brand using this methodology that I just shared with you, I really, really want you to take this class. I've created this cleverly called the branding class. It works really, really well. By the way, we have hundreds of very, very happy students, and here's how it works. So the class itself is 6 weeks, and the way it works is every week I release a new training that walks you through every single thing you need to do to create your content, make your offers, make people happy, build a brand, build a huge following, and have people coming to your website and buying things. So I show you how to do that every week. And you can have unlimited access to the content from anywhere in the world, even after the class is over. So, it's not going to go away or anything, right? So you can access the training from anywhere at any time, as long as you have the internet on any device. But what really makes this class different is, in addition to the training you get from me, you're also placed in a small group where my team will help you individually. And I think this is a really, really, really big deal. So this is what sets this class apart. Look, there's thousands of trainings out there on internet marketing. And I believe trainings are great. And I also know from personal experience, both as a student and as a teacher since 1999, it doesn't matter how good the class is, people are going to have questions. You're going to have questions. You're going to have like how do I do this? Or what should I say? Or what happens if this? And all of that. And that's why you're placed in a small group, no more than 10 people in a group, where every single week during the class, you get on with one of my facilitators on my team. This isn't a random person, by the way. There are 2 people in my company that are trained to do this. Both of them are military communications experts, by the way. So they're trained to facilitate this class and help you do it. So you're on in a small group of you and 9 other students with them, getting your questions answered. And the purpose of that is really to help you actually use what you learn. So this is dramatically different in that sense that we are here for you to personally help you do this, right? And that's a big deal. You can watch videos on the internet, and that's great, but everybody's got questions. We're here to literally personally answer your questions for you. So that's very, very important. The cost of it is 3 payments of $9.97. There should be a little button that'll pop up right around this time, hopefully, if I program the technology right, etc. So it's not particularly expensive. Anybody can make this investment, and that's why I've priced it accordingly. All right, so let me share with you how we actually teach during the class. All right, so the class structure goes like this. In week number 1, we work on your sales process. Remember I said there's 3 things you need to make this work. Number 1's a phone that's connected to social media, right? So you got to have a social media account. You need some way to put the content on there. Easiest way is a phone. Number 2, you got to know what to say. We're going to tell you what to say, by the way, but you have to have like something helpful for people. And number 3 is you need a way to sell your stuff. That's called a sales process. All right. So like, for example, a lot of people would think that would be complicated, and it doesn't have to be. So like if you're a professional business, like an attorney or whatever, your sales process might be, hey, call us for a free consultation. That's okay. That's a sales process. Well, in week number 1, what we do is I show you all of the sales processes that I've used and my clients have used, and I walk you through the very best ones based on business type, based on type of product, and based on price point of product. And here's why I do that. If you do this right, if you would do intent-based branding right, I believe you will experience what I experience, which is way more attention, way more traffic, way more goodwill, way more people coming to you and checking you out. And we don't want to waste that. So there's no point in taking all that traffic and sending them into a sales process that doesn't work. So in week number 1, I just really, really want to make sure that once somebody clicks on your website, you can really close that sale and make the sale and do it in a way that keeps people happy. So that's what we do in week number 1. In week number 2 of the class, we work on your market. And here's why this is important. I've been doing this, like I said, since 1999. I've got a lot of clients, both in one-on-one clients, high-level private client group clients, consulting clients, and then students I work with in classes like these. And in so many cases, the problem with their business is they're attracting the wrong customer. And they'll tell me this. They'll say, oh, man, I keep getting all these people that don't have any money, for example, right? And that's a big complaint. Well, that's because they're targeting the wrong market. You and I, right now, are in a very unique position in history where we can literally use social media to get in front of just about anybody in the world. I mean, assuming they're not people like in the Amazon rainforest licking frogs or whatever, not that there's anything wrong with that. But, we can't really reach them on social media because they probably don't have phones and they're not hooked up to the internet. But everybody else you can reach. And if we accept that to be true, you quickly realize, and hey, you can get whatever customer you want. And because of this, I'm going to walk you through some exercises in week number 2 to really figure out who is most likely to pay you the most with the least amount of resistance. And the reason we want to do that is because who you're going to target is going to directly affect what we do in week number 3, which is what you say. And that is going to be your content. Right? So you're watching this and you probably thought, okay, I get it. I need to put out a lot of content that helps people. And if you're like every other person in the world, your question is probably like, well, what exactly should I say? Well, there's a formulaic way to determine this. All right. So I'm going to show you exactly what to say. I'm going to show you how to find out. And then again, we are here for you during every single one of these weeks live in person in a small group with just you and 9 other students to help you implement what you learn. But what you say is going to be dependent on who you want to say it to, who you want to attract, right? So week number 3, we work out, here's exactly what you should be talking about every single time, right? And in week number 4, now we talk about your offers. And this is huge, okay? This is very, very, very important. The way intent-based branding is different from every other type of social media marketing in the world is that every post makes an offer. And the fear that people will have is, well, man, if I make an offer all the time, people are going to get mad at me. And that's a normal fear to have. And if you make offers the way most people do it, you're right, they will get mad at you. So there's a special way that you make offers every day that people don't mind. It doesn't feel like they're being sold to. They actually like it, and it maintains and even further builds the relationship with them. So there's all kinds of structures to it. There's the tutorial structure, there's the by the way structure, there's the before I forget structure, there's the if you're serious structure, and all of these things I'm rattling off that probably sound Greek to you. These are ways to present an offer. These are formulaic ways, like literally with a checklist and a process that I give you, formulaic ways to actually make your offer on social media without coming across as too salesy. And that's what I walk you through in week number 4. And again, You're probably going to have questions. I would expect you to. We are here to help you. So this is literally like, I don't think there's any other company in the world that will actually put you in a small group with just 9 other students and every single week answer your questions and be there for you to help you implement what you're learning in the class. And there's no extra charge to it. It doesn't cost you anything. It comes with this training. They're not there to upsell you anything. Neither of these people are commissioned salespeople. They are military intelligence veterans that are trained in my methodology, and this is all they do. They are salaried people that work for me, and they have for quite some time, and they're the exact same people that do this for our advertising agency clients. So we're here to help you, right? Now, in week number 5, so you know you got your sales process nailed down, you know who you're targeting now, you know what to say in your content, you know how to make your offers. In week number 5, I show you a strategy called content compounding. And what content compounding is, remember I said, hey, I'm not just on Facebook. I'm also on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram. I also have a podcast. I'm also on LinkedIn, by the way. I just forgot to put it on the slide. Well, I'm not making posts there. I'm not like going on Facebook and doing stuff and then going on LinkedIn and doing stuff and then like making stuff on YouTube. No, I spend about 30 minutes a day making stuff for Facebook, and then I compound that by repurposing it across all of those other networks. So in week number 5, I show you how to do that. And content compounding is something that you can do yourself. And also in week number 5, I show you the new way that we've taken that to a new level. We started doing that in February. Remember I said like all my old posts, they brought in that $40-something thousand in February. That's an additional method I'm going to show you in week 5. It's called content expansion. And I've got a way where I can take one Facebook Live and turn it into anywhere between 25 and 35 posts across all those different social media networks. That's called content expansion. So I show you how to do that in week number 5 as well. And again, we're here for you to actually help you implement that. And finally, in week 6, this is optional. Some folks won't want to do it. Some will. I'll show you how to now turn all of these posts. We go through all the ones that are working. Some will work and some won't, by the way. Some won't make you any money. Some people will buy from like crazy. I show you how to take the ones, find out which ones actually brought in sales, and then we turn those into ads. And that's what we do in week number 6. So if you want to get into paid ads, what you're going to have is a huge head start in the paid ad world because you already have content that's already made sales and now you're just boosting it. So your risk is way less, which, man, if only I'd have known this years ago, I wouldn't have had that call from the doctor like I told you about. So that's how the class works. And the most important thing is this, 2 things. Number 1, you always have access to this. You're never going to lose access to this, so take your time with it if you want to. Number 2, single most important thing is we are here for you. This is no joke. Like you will be in a small group with no more than 9 other students, and you will get individual personal attention where my team actually answers your questions, not like over group chat or whatever, but like on the phone or on Zoom, like, you can see each other if you want to, and just actually helps you implement this stuff and finally get it done. So this is like the one course that is so hardcore focused on actual implementation and getting you results that I've gone the extra mile and hired people to hold your hand through it and help you. And look, I'm not insinuating, oh man, you need your hand held. You're a person just like me. When I take classes, I've always got questions. I want my questions answered. I know you do too, and I want to provide that to you, and I will provide that to you. That's what we do in this class, and that doesn't cost anything extra, right? So again, there's a little button here somewhere on this page. Go ahead, click the button, and enroll in the class right now. When you do, you'll be given a username and password. You can access week 1 immediately. We'll also send you an email with instructions on how to get into your implementation group. That's what that's called, that little small group of 10 that you'll belong to. And you'll be off to the races. So there's absolutely no delay. So go ahead, enroll in this training right now. I know you are going to love it. So many people have already taken this. I've been doing this since 1999. Advising and teaching internet entrepreneurs specifically on how to attract more customers to their business. This is without question the favorite class that I've ever taught for any students ever. I mean, this is the one that they're like, dude, this is literally your best work. I've been following you since 2000, and this is the best thing you've ever done. Thank you so much for putting it out. I know you're going to love this. You got here. You're watching this class probably because of intent-based branding. You probably saw my stuff on social media, watched it, got value from it, heard me say, hey, come to this webinar. I think you'll enjoy it. And that's what got you here. It's proof positive this methodology works. I'm confident that you'll get a lot of results from it. You'll be very happy you took this class. Go ahead and enroll now. Now, a lot of people ask questions about this stuff, and it's totally normal. So I want to address some that you might be having. right? And it's normal to have these questions. Thing number one is, what if I don't have any fans or followers? Well, this is how you get fans and followers, So here's what doesn't work. Posting pictures of what you had for breakfast, pictures of you and your dog or whatever. Here's what does work. Things that are valuable to your target market. So if you don't have any fans or followers, you are not alone. It's very, very common and it's normal. And this training is designed assuming that you don't have any fans or followers. So here's what's going to happen. Number one, you're going to realize that fans and followers don't mean anything. Remember, it doesn't matter if you have 1 million fans or followers. It looks cool, but the fact of the matter is organic reach, and that's what it means, like for Facebook to show your stuff to all your fans or your followers, organic reach is dead. They just don't show it to your people anymore. The name of the game is engagement. So the way you get actual exposure on Facebook isn't through fans and followers, it's through how many people actually watch your stuff, and it's called reach. And the more people that actually watch it and engage with it, the higher your reach will get. So if you start doing this, you do it every day for 30 days, you're going to end up with lots of reach, way more engagement, way more views than you would have had if you were just trying to build fans and followers. So it's okay if you don't have any fans or followers. It's not going to hurt you. Fans and followers don't matter anymore. So you're good there. And now the next question is, what in the world am I going to talk about, right? So we help you a lot with that in week number 3, your actual content, but I'll kind of give you something that might help you now. And that is this. You're always going to be talking about them. So one of the big things that can freak people out is like, oh man, I'm kind of an introvert or I don't want to have to go and try to look cool on camera and all of this stuff. And thank God, nobody cares about that stuff anymore. What our audience care about, your audience, my audience, everybody, they care about themselves. And I don't mean to say they're self-centered or bad people, but they want help with something and you provide that help. So everything you ever talk about is going to be about what they want and how they get it. And that will always be the topic of all of your content. Eventually, during the class especially, we will help you create what's called 3 core messaging pillars. And that's going to be the 3 main topics that you talk about all the time. And it's always based on what your client wants or your prospect wants and how they get it. So that's everything you ever talk about. You never have to talk about yourself. You never have to try to pretend to be a big shot or anything. Nobody cares. You don't have to try to look fancy. Nobody cares. All they care about is, hey, can this person help me? And that's exactly what intent-based branding does, is it demonstrates that you can help people by actually helping people. So if you want that effect of having your market really, really like you and really view you as someone they can trust and that they really respect and that they really like and they really want to do business with you, not because you had to posture, not because you had to act cool, not because you had to go out and get a lot of testimonials and all of that kind of stuff, but because you genuinely helped them, then this is going to do that for you. This will be a game changer for you. Now, another question I get is, I'm a plumber, or I'm a realtor, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm a whatever. Will this work for me? And the answer is, assuming you have this one thing, okay? So there is one thing that you must have in order for this to work. And if you have this one thing, then I'm 100% confident that intent-based branding will help you. If you do not have this one thing, then I am not confident. And here's the one thing. The one thing is a sales process. So if you have a process now by which you take someone who's interested in your stuff and you sell them your stuff, then yes, this will work. That process can be as simple as having somebody call your office, like most attorneys, for example, most accountants, for example, most financial planners, for example. By the way, I have clients in all of those industries that use this. That's one example of a very simple sales process. If you're a coach or a consultant, your sales process might be they schedule a strategy session with you. That's a sales process. That's totally fine. If you sell information products, your sales process might be a webinar. It might be a sales letter. It might be a video sales letter. That's an example of a sales process. If you have a sales process of any kind, even your sales process could be like, you could be a house painter and your sales process could be call for an estimate. Totally fine. That works. As long as you have some way to actually make the sale, whether it's on the phone, in person, online, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you have that, then intent-based branding will help you. Because what intent-based branding does is it creates a big group of people who know you, like you, trust you, and want what you have, and then it sends them into that sales process. So as long as you have some method of actually accepting the payment, then yes, I'm very, very confident that intent-based branding will get you where you want to go as long as you do it. And like I said, we are here to help you do it. So this is so much more than just a training. This is way different than just another internet marketing course or whatever. We are actually here to help you, and not just like, hey, let's get a whole bunch of people on a conference call and answer questions randomly. No, it's you and only 9 other people with my team answering your questions until you are good to go. So there's no rush. There's no, okay, you can only ask this many questions. No, you choose your group, you choose the time that you want to meet, and we help you, and we do it, and we hold your hand throughout the class. And the reason I do that, twofold. Number one, that's how I would want people to help me. I'm not that great at like studying and learning stuff. I got a lot of questions, man. I'm one of those people. I'm that guy that's gonna be like, well, what about this? Well, what about this? So I'm like that, and so I need that personally. And the old golden rule is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that's what I would want someone to do for me. Is in something like this that might be a little new to you. If it were me, I would want someone to help me do it. And that's why we do it, because I would have to have it. I would want it, and I want to do unto you as I would want you to do for me. And I'm sure you would. I'm sure that if you sold some kind of information, I had questions, you'd be happy to help me. And that's why we do that. So with all of those questions answered, I really, really strongly urge you to take this class. I know without question this will help you. I'm telling you, I've been doing this since 1999. This is the single most powerful marketing methodology I have ever seen in almost 20 years. That's over 7,000 days of selling things every single day online, doing internet marketing every single day with hundreds, if not thousands of clients from every possible industry you can think of, all the way from internet marketing people to financial planners to insurance people to medical professionals to you name it, dentists, random stuff like people who make little custom cabins, everybody. This is the thing that is the most powerful methodology ever. And the best part of it is it doesn't require a huge investment for you to use in your business. It is not difficult to execute. It doesn't require a lot of techie stuff. And on top of that, 100% of it is goodwill-based, meaning that it is genuinely good for your market. It genuinely helps everybody who sees it. And you can't help but win when you do that for people. So once again, click the button wherever it may be, enroll in this class. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to working with you. And regardless of what you do, I really appreciate you taking the time to have this little training with me today. And thank you very much for your time and attention. Okay, enroll in the class. I'll see you later.